You're a loser just like me. Hi! Yes, Ms. Wicked Wolf, it's alcohol. I'm not playing the game today. Technically in 2 days, Jason, but thank you very much. Thank you for all the well wishes. All! It is very much appreciated. How's it going? I have had a very productive day, and I had planned to have a very productive day. The issue was that because of all the stuff happening, like freaking Star Wars The Acolyte trailer drops, and then the Moffat news hit, and that I've already got enough stuff going on as is, I couldn't wait on either of those two and had to turn them around freaking immediately. So I was very productive, just, not getting to the stuff that I planned to. Just having to play whack-a-mole with the stuff that came up. Yes, Black Cover, I am okay. It's just... Whew. Hey, Meg. Good to see you. Hey, everybody. Hey, Gozer. Hey, Carolyn. Black Cover, Adrian, Joel, Ms. Wicked Wolf, Amber, Harriet, Rowan, etc., etc., etc. I have way too many gray hairs to count. Like, I don't know if the lighting will pick it up. But like I've got a yeah, there it is. There. See there. There it is. There's the gray streak. that right there. That is not blonde. That was dyed for getting my hair colored and has lost its color. That's all me. Hey. Have I ever read Harold and the Purple Crayon? I never did. I'm aware of it, and I know there's a movie, and I don't understand why there's a movie. But yeah. Not sure I love that title, Rowan. I read a fan theory once that Hank Hill is a Republican because he dislikes change, and that's evidence he's autistic. That and the fact that he tends to miss subtlety. Thoughts on that theory? I didn't watch enough King of the Hill. Like, maybe. I mean, the general assumption is that most of those characters, they live in a conservative part of the country. Republican would be the safe assumption. They're all conservatively minded insofar as they're certainly not expanding out into new progressive areas of life. That doesn't automatically make them Republicans, but safe bet. Autistic? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the show. Thoughts on May 11th as Doctor Who's premiere date? For me, it's double whammy because Eurovision is airing the same night, so it's Whovision for me. My video that I already shot and was all queued up and still is about the release schedule for Doctor Who, that goes live tomorrow. So, yeah. As it's still 11 p.m. in the UK, it's still my birthday. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Zacky Boy. Saying your name makes me sound drunk, even though I am not currently. All the best people are born in March. I should know as most of my family are March babies. I was actually the third March in a row. Just going down the family line. Thanks to our clocks not changing yet, I can catch a live stream. Oh, it's good to have you here, Kara. It's been a little while. Thank you, Jen. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that immensely. That's a reminder that while I will try and keep up with the chat, the super chats are the one thing that will guarantee that I see your comment or question, and you also get a little heart from me. Heart of appreciation. I have started getting stuff in for my birthday. Some stuff came in off of my my wish list. Actually, this top was a wish list item. So I got this. Got in today a package that had the DVD set of the first 3 seasons of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Unfortunately, the only 3 to get a physical release. But I now have those. And some sealing wax and some thigh-high stockings, which those will probably get shown off not on this channel, but in other places. Somebody got me the sewing machine I had on the wish list, which I did not expect to happen. That was not a small ticket item. But yeah, so now I've got a heavy-duty sewing machine that I need to figure out how to use so that I can make new tearaway pants, amongst other things. What did you think about my hardline stance that British people should get priority in BBC content because we have to pay for it? I don't have a problem with someone taking that stance. I think that's a pretty defensible stance. I'm obviously not from the UK, so my inclination is to not be as hardline about it, but like I think that's an understandable stance. Excuse me. I watched the new optional CGI effects version of Horror of Fang Rock. Coolest change is that when Leela throws her knife at the Rutan, his head splits apart to dodge it. I think when I watched it, I watched original. I'm pretty sure that's what's on BritBox. That top makes me look gay? Good. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's get gayer up in here. Come on. Get. Sealing wax, are you writing a letter? Or are you sharing it with Puff the Magic Dragon? Well, the thing is, I actually got a one of those sealing stamps for Christmas, but I didn't have wax, so now I have sealing wax. How much will I use all this? I don't know, but I have it, and that makes me happy. Heavy duty machines are a must for burlesque. That was my understanding as well, Amber. So yeah, that's. Did someone say tearaway pants? Yeah. I had 2 sets of tearaway pants for burlesque numbers. One of them still fits, but it's close, but it does, and the other pair just doesn't fit. And I need a new pair of black tearaway pants. Like it's a staple. It's a staple for a reason. Like there are a few things that'll get a bigger reaction than just suddenly, boom, pants gone. Like it's huge. It's always a huge pop from the audience. Do I sew? Well, I'm going to now. I'm gonna start. Jar Jar Ed, welcome and thank you very much for the super chat. Who is the best Doctor Who companion and why is it K9? I do like K9. For me, like just the archetype that K9 happens to be is generally not my favorite thing, but I do like him. he is a good example of the kind of thing that he is. I don't know. I'm still gonna favor that girl with the bat. I'm just saying. Kind of does it for me. I had no idea you were a March baby. Both my parents were born in March. Oh, 6 and 26 respectively. Oh, so you have a Pisces and an Aries. Oh, lovely. um, let me see here. Sorry, give me a second. Just want to say, Vera, been a long-time viewer. I lost my dad almost 2 weeks ago without any warning. I've been binging your Doctor Who overdue reviews, and they've been so calming. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Volk Smash. I'm really, really sorry for your loss. That's not an easy thing, and I am flattered and honored that anything I made would be calming, and you've got a fair few of those, and then they dovetail into Take Two Doctor Who reviews, very much the same spirit. So for probably as long as you need them, they'll be there. It's a lengthy viewing, but I am very sorry. Do I listen to Sting? Nope. I believe I said I feel like I'm being asked to pay for NHS to provide private medical care to the Americas. Is that too hyperbolic? I mean, a little, insofar as comparing a piece of entertainment to life-saving medicine is inherently hyperbolic. I understand why you made the comparison. I'm not sure it's necessary. I think the point's clear even without that. Oh yes, I see the shock is reverberating through the chat over the fact that I'm quite gay and merry as well. Oh, and the other thing I meant to say in terms of stuff arriving for my birthday, I have not checked my PO box. That was one of the things I was gonna do today, but bunch of other stuff ate up my time, so that did not happen. What kind of water do I have tonight? Tonight's water is cheap but still tasty Riesling. Riesling is my go-to with wines. It's not the only thing I'll drink, but it is like when presented with variety of options, I'm like, oh, this or this. Like, if I order Riesling, I know I'm gonna be happy with it. Sometimes something else will, like, it'll be what I'm more in the mood for, but like Riesling is just a staple. Like, I always know, like, if I order Riesling, I'm gonna be happy. And cripes, this is a big bottle. I'm still salty that Ireland got the rough end of the Doctor Who Disney Plus deal. We can't get iPlayer legally, but we were left out of the Disney Plus deal. So if we miss it live, tough. Yeah, I heard about that, Cara, because I saw Sean Ferrick on Twitter going off about that. And rightfully, like, that's some nonsense right there. Do I listen to Linkin Park? Not really. I listen to covers of Linkin Park every now and then. Usually slowed down and more mellow. I finished Hilda last week, so glad you recommended the show. Really enjoyed it. Oh, that's great, Jason. I'm glad you liked it. Who is the worst abusive bastard? Kilgrave from Jessica Jones or Valentino from Has Been Hotel? I'd say they're probably about equal. If you want to go by volume, it's going to be Kilgrave. But, like, Kilgrave, while he's very aware that what he's doing is not okay, he also... it's not that he wants to hurt people, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. I mean, well, some people, he wants to hurt Jessica in some very specific ways, but like by and large, most of his stuff is callous, but it's on a much bigger scale. Whereas Valentino, yeah, he takes particular joy in causing pain. I would put them on even playing field for different reasons. Gentlemen, I have news for you. The lighthouse is under attack, and by morning we might all be dead. Anyone interested? Good stuff, good stuff. Have I seen or heard of Spider-Man Lotus? I've heard of it. I have no interest in watching it. For folks who don't know, that is a Spider-Man fan film that was not good. And it was like the internet's punching bag of the week a few months back. I saw people talking about it. I had no interest. Like, fan films aren't really my thing anyway, even though I've actually provided voice work for a Spider-Man fan film. Just in general, they're not something I seek out for the most part. Let's see. Ms. Wicked Wolf, are we just going to go through a collection of artists and bands? Like, could we give that a rest? Have I seen the manga or the anime Delicious in Dungeon? I haven't. I've heard of it, and I know some people who are watching it, but no, I have not seen that particular one. Happy almost birthday. Thank you, Auntie Cat. Much appreciated. This is early. Well, it's early for you because you haven't changed your clocks yet where you are, Vacuum of Comments. Whereas for me, that happened last week. What drew me to X-Wing pilots over Jedi even before Jedi oversaturation? I don't know. Like, I was 4. I don't remember the thought process of when I was 4. It's just when I thought about playing Star Wars, I was more apt to imagine flying an X-Wing or being the gunner in the Millennium Falcon than I was to imagine swinging a lightsaber. That's just how I was. I don't remember my thought process. Thank you very much, Vacuum of Comments. I read an essay recently called Abolish Restaurants. You ever feel like leftists sometimes use intentionally hurt language that's designed to alienate normies? No, I think they use hyperbolic language with the intention of getting attention. I think when you make a hyperbolic statement like that, you get the hope is that you. I mean, it's basically clickbait. It's the political equivalent of clickbait. So I don't think it's the intention to alienate people. It's the intention is to get attention, and this is the attention economy. So. Did I ever read Richard Scarry? Yeah, a little. Supreme Omega, thank you very much for the super chat. When writers try to make villains so sadistic and engage in real life evil, I feel it does make the hero's no killing rule look ineffectual. Thoughts? I think that giving your heroes a hard no killing rule is a difficult thing to manage, and part of making that work is going to be creating a world and obstacles that might challenge that perspective but doesn't make it seem foolish. And that is not impossible, but difficult. You want to see a phenomenal handling of that. There's either an issue of Superman, I forget the issue number, but the issue was, the title for the issue was What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, which was the inspiration for a animated adaptation called Superman versus the Elite. Seek out either one of those for a really good story built around challenging a hero's no-kill code in a way that like makes makes him question, maybe even makes the reader question, but also affirms why it still works in the setting. So that's a difficult line to walk, but if you can walk it, it's phenomenal. But yeah, it is a risk if you're going to have your heroes have a hard no kill rule and you introduce villains who are just prepared to flatly take advantage of that, or who just are so deeply horrifically gross that it starts to make the heroes, or it runs the risk of making the heroes not only look naive or ineffectual, but also like actively failing to go with what might be a proper solution. That it's tricky. It's a tricky thing to balance. It's doable. The problem with comic books is they're long running, so the longer it runs, the more likely it is that either over time it's going to drift in a direction where it seems foolish, or even if it doesn't fully drift, there's going to be more incidents over time where it does. Erica, thank you very much for that super chat. That was very generous, and I appreciate it immensely. I'm so glad I was able to join the live stream this evening to wish you a happy birthday. May your birthday be like you. Awesome. Thank you, Erica. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And Dharma, re-upping the channel membership. 27 months of unadulterated queerness. I don't know. If it's mixed with wine, is it slightly adulterated? I don't know. I love Superman's World of Cardboard speech. Oh, yeah, that's a classic, too. That's from the Justice League animated series when Darkseid shows up and Superman just starts wailing on him because he has this speech talking about how he has to be so careful every day because he lives in a world of cardboard where if he loses control, he could just tear everything apart, and he always has to hold back. He always has to be careful no matter how dangerous the villain is, except Darkseid can take it, so he doesn't have to hold back when he takes on Darkseid. It's so good. Oh, that's that good pull, Carolyn. That's gold. I love that. I think your latest vid about Doctor Who is bang on. Old Heads coming back as a band-aid. If you want your show to have a new lease on life, you need fresh blood. Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't had the time to watch the video that came out, hour and a bit ago? Or maybe just an hour ago? I don't know. Time's a flat circle. Talking about the return of Stephen Moffat to write an episode of Doctor Who under Russell T Davies. And I went off on that. And to be clear, and you can see the whole video, but to be clear, my issue is not that I hate Moffat or anything like that. It's just a matter of we're bringing back so many things from the past, and I'm like, it makes me more and more and more and more nervous that it's not going to move in a new direction. It's not going to move forward. It's just going to be circling the same talents who may or may not be doing the same things, but it's like, I've given a bit of a pass so far, but like we're just getting more and more and more and more old stuff. And like you can even look, comic books are a recurring thing today, but you can look back to comics and most instances where like a previously really beloved writer for a certain character coming back to write that character again almost never works out well. Trying to read Neil Adams and Batman Odyssey, Frank Miller, Dark Knight Strikes Again, like, granted with Doctor Who so far, it is working out better than those cases, but like, it doesn't have a great track record of being like, oh, we've kind of gone off rails. Let's bring back one of the iconic older writers. Like, you mean the ones who haven't done this in a long time? And who we were actually kind of tired of when they stopped before? The Elite are also a deconstruction of Warren Ellis's The Authority. That's true, Coyote Azul, but I'd say they are more a deconstruction of what Mark Miller was doing with The Authority than they were of The Authority as Ellis originally created them. But that's splitting hairs a little bit, to be fair. Considering they cover similar territory, I wouldn't be surprised if Poison from Hazbin Hotel was inspired by All You Want to Do from Six the Musical. I wouldn't be shocked. They definitely have very similar themes. I like how that concept is handled with Yoli and Digimon Adventures 2. That one I'll have to take your word on. Do I want world domination for my birthday? No, I don't want that responsibility. I really don't. Jar Jar Ed, back again. Thank you very much for the super chat. Speaking of rules, rules. I'm challenging the doctor with no magic wand. I mean, no sonic screwdriver rule. Difficulty impossible. I mean, the doctor's been without the sonic screwdriver repeatedly, and not even like just having a replacement that does the same thing, like say with the sonic sunglasses. Like Fifth Doctor didn't have the sonic screwdriver. Sixth Doctor didn't have the sonic screwdriver. Seventh Doctor didn't have the sonic screwdriver up until the TV movie where they decided to give it to him, even though he'd never used it during his time on the show. Like the Doctor is fine without the sonic screwdriver. It's just a handy thing. Jennifer De Benedetto, thank you very much. It's very generous, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that immensely. They weren't no kill by any means, but the David Arkin Animorphs, where they try to deal with him without killing him. I never read Animorphs, so I'm going to have to take your word on that. I'm bored of Jedi, but not bored of Sith, personally. The problem is that Star Wars seems unwilling to engage with the Sith without the Jedi. And to be fair, the way the Sith have largely been constructed, they exist in opposition to the Jedi. So if you're not also dealing with the Jedi, then what are we doing? Riesling, Meg. Cheap Riesling in a very large bottle. Sometimes I think Ratigan secretly wants Basil, just like the Joker secretly wants Batman. That's only some interpretations of the Joker. I think Ratigan's crush on Basil of Baker Street, this is the Great Mouse Detective for people who don't know, is far more overt than the Joker. Let's see. Have I seen Dune Part 2? Nope, I haven't. I don't know when I will. You know what I was thinking about the other day that I'm not sure has been done? A story of a revolutionary who has PTD because he has to murder the old king's kids to end his dynasty. Could you be invented in a character who's done that? Like, I can't think of that. I think as a rule of thumb, most media has killing kids as a hard line that heroes never, ever cross. Even those who might justify it as a necessary evil are still going to end up being the antagonist of the story, or at least in anything that I can think of. Whether it's Looper or Richard III, or, you know, if somebody's doing that, they're not the hero, at least not in the scenario, as a rule. You could try. I think you're gonna lose a big chunk of your audience, though, trying to pull that off. Erica, thank you very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. You may have already discussed this late to the stream. I haven't been able to join in a while. Have you seen the movie Bottoms? I just loved it. Actually, no. No, I haven't. I have not seen that. I forgot about it. I remember it was like a big deal for a hot minute. Discord, thank you, Carowin. I will get to that in just a minute. Children of Earth, that's true, 255 AD, but even Children of Earth still basically pulled and Jack's going to go away for a long time because, dang, that was real messed up, which still is kind of the show's way of not condoning what he did. Even if it is accepted as the thing that needed to happen. Anyways, I gotta hop over to the Council of Geeks Discord. Reminder, that is a Patreon exclusive perk. I gotta answer the questions that are over there. I will be back as quickly as I can. Let's see what we got. Have you ever tried Finnish salmiakki licorice? And if not, how can I get it to you ASAP? Well, anything you want to send to me can be sent to the P.O. box that is in the description of every single video I put up. And somebody might have sent me that before. Hang on. Let me check something. Maybe. Somebody sent me licorice that. Oh yeah. Yep. I have had that. Because somebody sent me salty licorice years ago. Somebody sent me that. It was a lot. It was intense. I have had it. Ew, it's a lot. Who's your favorite character in the X-Men comic book? Difficulty, no Mystique. All right, if we're disregarding Mystique, then it goes to her kid. It goes to Nightcrawler. Because he's swashbuckling and he can wield 3 swords at once. He's awesome. You're driving around doing stuff and your favorite artist comes on the radio. Who is it? Depends on the day. Seriously, I do not have a go-to answer to that. I don't. I can't. I don't. What is best in life? Slay your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women. Conan the Barbarian. Because I don't know how current that reference is. Well, I know it's not current. I don't know if it's endured. As someone who's read comics since they were 2 to 3 years old, does it feel like the big two, those being Marvel and DC, recycle their plots every 20 years? Or does it just feel like that since it's multiple writers working on characters with 60 plus years of history and baggage? It's both. It's both, and it's different with each one. Because DC, they are literally recycling their plots because they reboot their fucking continuity every decade, every 1 to 2 decades. So they are literally just doing the same plots over and over again half the time. And in the case of Marvel, it's a bit more, they've just been around so long that things start to cycle back around and there's homages to things that happened before. And it's even meant to impact the characters in a way like, oh, this is like that thing that happened before. But it can still start to be repetitive when you're going into 60 or 70 or 80 years worth of stuff in the case of somebody like Superman or Batman. So it's both. Has there been a person you admired, writer, actor, etc., that really pissed you off when you found out they were not particularly nice people or held offensive views? I mean, J.K. Rowling probably still takes the crown for that one. I was really deeply disappointed to learn about Warren Ellis. Because he's written some of my favorite comics and some of my favorite shows because he wrote Castlevania, which I love. That one hurt. I'd say of like the actors that have turned out to be terrible people, I think the only one that really hit me in a bad way was Kevin Spacey. Because not only did I really admire him as an actor, he was in one of my favorite movies, which is The Usual Suspects. Now that one's real hard for me to try and go back to. Not only is he in it, it's directed by Bryan Singer, who's another piece of crap. It has turned out. So, is there any alcoholic drink that you will not touch and or made you sick in the past? I mean, there's definitely stuff that made me sick in the past, but it was because it was taken in excess. Like Jell-O shots made me sick in the past. It wasn't their fault. I think Fireball I got sick on, like in my 20s. I'm not sure there's anything that I flatly wouldn't touch. I think I would probably turn down like a martini. Just because like it's just gin. And I don't really like gin very much. And it's large. Like, even if it's alcohol that I don't like that much, if it is a small serving, if it's like a shot, I'll grimace through it and I'll be fine. But like something like a martini, that takes work, and I don't like them. You know what I was saying on the Discord the other day about the fact that it is possible for an offensive joke to be funny, but that doesn't make it okay. I do think that, but I have to admit, when right-wingers intentionally try to make jokes offensive, they tend to be pretty bad. Why do you think that is? Well, because when your goal is offense, then your goal isn't to make people laugh. A well-constructed joke requires wit and takes work, regardless of whether the subject matter is offensive or not. Properly constructing a joke requires you to properly construct a joke. When the punchline just amounts to, did I offend you? Or, wow, can you believe I just said that? Yeah, the joke's not going to be good because it's not written as a joke. It is written where the outrage or the offense is meant to be what's funny, but there is frequently not an actual joke there. I think that's what you run into a lot. The other day I listened to a podcast talking about the uncommitted movement. I'm not entirely sure I know. Oh, uncommitted voters. Right. At one point, the host pointed out that all the things people are mad at Biden for will get worse if Trump gets back in. I don't think they'd admit it, but I think a lot of people who don't want to vote for Biden's mental response to that would be, yeah, it'll be worse, but I won't have to feel morally complicit in the president if I didn't vote for him into office. Like, bizarrely, they think letting things get worse will make them feel less guilty so long as they do it in a passive way. Do you think I'm right, or am I being unfair? I think you are probably correct in some cases. I think it would be overly broad to say that is going to be the case for everyone who is undecided or is hesitant about voting for Biden. What I will say, and I've said before in the past, and I've gone on record saying, and I'll go on record saying again, is that if your concern is not the practical outcome, but your conscience, I don't care about your conscience. I don't. Your conscience helps no one but you. Your vote might, if not help, at least mitigate the damage for millions of people. Your conscience is for you to grapple with, but when you grappling and trying to satisfy your conscience causes harm to other people or worsens harm, I don't care what feels good. I don't care. Again, not everyone who's hesitant about Biden has that position. I'll say that again. But for those where it ultimately boils down to, I don't feel okay voting for him, tough. Tough. If that's all you've got, then tough. If you have reasons beyond that, there's more to be considered into weigh or whatever. But if that's ultimately what it boils down to, suck it up. I don't care. I'm normally against capitalist-style power hierarchies, but do you think it'd be good for video essays, like an art form, if video essayists had someone in a position of power over them who could force them to be a reasonable length of time? Like in the early days of film, there was an incident where the director refused to cut his film down to less than something like 7 hours, and the studio refused to release his cut. Obviously, the studio was thinking about the fact that no one would pay to sit through a movie that long. But I do think it's good that filmmakers had to learn to tell their stories in a reasonable amount of time if they wanted anyone to see it. If you're asking me if video essays would benefit from that, no. My answer is no. Because are some of the things that go on for 3, 4, 5 hours, are they completely unnecessary to be that long? Yeah. That's a bad video essayist. Don't watch them. But some of these video essays, not all, not many, but some, are the result of massive amounts of work that, if put into a book, would be like textbook length worth of research and citations. So I think it depends on, and whether or not I think over 2 hours is appropriate has a lot to do with what the subject matter is. If ultimately what you're doing is talking about your opinion, going over 2 hours is not impossible to justify, but difficult. It's difficult. However, if you are trying to build a proper case for something with deeper meaning, with bigger ramifications, where you did a ton of research and showing your work matters, then yeah, take as long as you need. Like, we wouldn't tell, you might look at a book, whether it's a novel or a textbook, And if it's over 400 pages, you might go, that's longer than I want to engage with. And that's fine. But some people's stories, some people's points take more than 400 pages to make well. And I think that's also true of video essays. And like the practical realities of films previously having topped out at 2 hours, like we are living in a world right now where 3 hours is becoming frustratingly common, and I don't like it. But I also wouldn't ask for movies to be forcibly cut down to 2 hours. I would just like to ask that more directors try to be economical once in a while. I need more Nimonas in my life. I don't need more Oppenheimers and Dune 2s. So there you go. My girlfriend started HRT a couple of weeks ago. Oh, congratulations to her. What are the big and little things to be aware of while she's still going through this process? Any tips on what she might need from me as she adjusts? Well, first of all, congratulations to her. And secondly, there isn't a lot of blanket advice I can give other than encourage her to speak her mind even when it's in flux. And that's kind of going to be the big thing for you, which is that the only person who can tell you what's going to help her feel affirmed and is going to help her feel validated is her. Because what affirms and validates and is helpful is going to vary from person to person. But be aware that what works or what helps might change as she moves along down her transition. Or she might ask for something that she thinks will help and it turns out it won't. So be open to listening to things changing and her needs or her wants or whether or not something is helping to shift over time, because that is liable to happen. Other than that, just talk and listen. That's the fact that you're still with her as she's started this journey, to me says you're probably already listening. So you're off to a good start. Any tips on procrastination / getting back out of a writing hole? I've never written anything this long, and I have now also gone off the rough plan I made in the beginning. Asking me for tips on procrastination for long-term projects. I still got to finish editing the audiobook for my novel. It's been 2 years. Anyway, I don't really make an immediate goal smaller and aim for that. I know I tend to procrastinate when I'm keeping the full scope of something in view and it just seems like so much and I just don't want to work on it. Make it smaller. Make the goal smaller. See if that helps. And if you are working on something long and you're not used to working on something this long, the main thing that I can tell you is forward momentum only. Do not go back and start reworking and editing what you've already written. Not until you have a finished first draft. So that's it. And I'm now back in the stream. So I have, that was all the Discord questions. And let me catch up on super chats that came in the meantime. From Cara, happy birthday, Vera. Was tempted to write it in Irish and watch you try and read it, but I'm not that mean. Appreciated. Irish is a lovely language that I would butcher. We don't need to harm innocent people with me trying to pronounce it. Donagata, thank you very much for the super chat. Happy birthday. Have a glass of dry white wine and let's toast to you. Live long and prosper. Happy shared birthday. Thank you, Dharma. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see. Get back into the chat. They should have cast you in the lead of the remake for The Crow. I don't think I'd want to be in that movie. Besides, like, the amount of working out they'd make me do, I think, would put me off it pretty quickly. Do you think it's different if it's a narrative medium like film? That director cried when he saw the studio's cut, but I can't help but think he needs to learn to tell stories better. I mean, not knowing what the movie is and not having seen either a cut down or a 7 hour version of it, I can't tell you whether the director is justified. I will feel confident in saying that most movies do not need to be 7 hours long. Is it impossible that one needed to be to tell its story properly? Maybe. Maybe. I will grant that the Snyder Cut benefited from its length, other than the last 20 minutes, which shouldn't exist. So, uncharitable comment, Biden is a Democratic Ronald Reagan. I'm trying to think if there's an angle by which I agree with that. No, there isn't. Because if you're going after his mental capacity, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as Ronald Reagan's was. And if you're going by impact on, like, if you're trying to gauge future impact, I doubt it. Oh, jeez. I think Bailey's just dropped Irish on me. Oh, jeez. Oh. Ooh. Oh, should I try? Should I try to pronounce that? Jeez. All right, hold on. I'm gonna butcher this. I don't know how to speak Irish. I don't. So this is going to be a train wreck. Nip of courage. Gillick. Oh, Jesus. Gillickid Vajardag. Sure. Why not? That was a mess. Do I prefer Skittles or Twizzlers? Depends on my mood, like most things. Broke. Ridley Scott fuming about Napoleon being cut from 5 hours to 2.5 woke David Lynch going, I don't care, when asked if Twin Peaks Season 3 is a TV show or a film. See, like, Ridley Scott might be easy to pick on, but at the same time, I've seen the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven, and it's real good, and the theatrical is not. Whether that means he should have been given 9 hours for Napoleon, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so... book is 19,000 words so far. Oh, that's a solid start. Keep moving forward. The biggest mistake, the most consistent mistake that I see new writers make is to, like, when they hit a stumbling block or they start to lose motivation, is they go back and start working on the earlier bits. Just don't do that, because that's a cycle that never ends. You'll just keep re-editing the same thing over and over and over. Excuse me. The Biden comment was more of a promise of a return to normalcy in his platform. Oh. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think the nostalgia being called back to is distinctly different, though, because Reagan was basically calling back to the 50s, whereas Biden was calling back to the Obama administration, which was, like a decade. So there's a correlation there, but the length of time being called back to is pretty distinctly different. That is not Irish. Okay, Cara, that I just spoke gibberish. I don't know what that was. Even before I spoke it, I don't know what that was. Is my native language Dutch for Irish try? La Breer schon Duits. Okay. Probably butchered that too. My thoughts on Flashdance? It is a movie that exists. Popping in 2 seconds to say happy birthday. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. Erin, oh, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that immensely. Canadian. Bon anniversary, you young pup. Fellow March birthday. Big 60 next week. Dang! Congratulations on that. Also, I know this didn't exist in the 1920s, but it just occurred to me maybe that guy should have been a TV writer if he feels like his story needed 7 hours. Or maybe just should have written a novel. I don't know. Again, depends on the nature of the story. It sounded more Irish than the Irish one. Oh, we're just... Oh, the poor Irish are taking a walloping. Like, the Irish have been through enough. They don't need to hear their words or anything even closely approximating their words being butchered by somebody as freaking English as I am. That feels offensive now that I think about it. Oh, dear. Ugh. What are your thoughts on R-rated cuts like Scooby-Doo or Mrs. Doubtfire? Do you think they should be released? Wait, are there R-rated cuts on Scooby-Doo or Mrs. Doubtfire? I know in Mrs. Doubtfire there could be because it had Robin Williams and he improv'd, and he tends to improv dirty if there aren't kids around. My general thoughts on it are I have no interest in it. It'd be an oddity at most, and by and large with those things, it's not going to fundamentally change the nature of the thing. It's just going to be more dirty language, probably from improvised or ad-libbed scenes. And I don't find improvised and ad-lib scenes that good most of the time. So I would personally have no interest. I'm glad classic Doctor Who ended where it did, not because of the Cartmel Master Plan, which was never going to happen. Well, I mean, like I've been properly schooled on that, and what I thought was the case was not quite the case, although like there was still some of it there. But anyway, because H and 7 largely had already finished their development. Well, I still haven't seen Survival, which was their last story, so I won't have a firm opinion on that until after I see that. Was the Obama administration a good time? I mean, comparatively, sure. It was better than this. Was it like rainbows and sunshine? No. I have a lot of issues with Obama, but I really don't feel like getting into that. That was Irish and not too bad an attempt. Oh, thank you, Kara. I still feel like someone as English as me shouldn't be trying. That feels like a hate crime. Feels like the chat's all over the place tonight. It happens. Salute. Also, with regard to the video essay thing, why not just make a book very few people will read instead of a video very few people will read? I mean, people have their preferred mediums. Just because something could fill out a book doesn't mean that's how you prefer to present it. You know, speaking as someone who has worked in multiple mediums, I've written a play, I've written an autobiography, I've written a novel, I do video essays, I do off-the-cuff stuff. I did like, sometimes what you want to do fits a certain medium, or at least what you want to do with it leans into a certain medium. Whereas if it was about objectively just getting the facts out there, then it wouldn't matter. But like, people have their preferred ways of delivering facts, or a way that they think will deliver it better for the purpose for the point they want to make. They may not be right in their assumptions about what would or wouldn't be better, but people have their preferences. They're there. They exist. Maramath Hans, thank you for the super chat. Happy birthday. Just watch your Moffat video virtual hug. Thank you. Guinness is the only Irish word I need to know. My favorite thing about Guinness, And I don't know if this is still true, but it was at least true through the 90s, that you couldn't fake Guinness beer. What am I talking about? Well, generally, in a TV show or a movie, when characters are in a pub or a bar and drinking, it's fake alcohol because they're drinking multiple takes. Like, you don't want your actors getting drunk. And, you know, there are non-alcoholic, but like looks like the real thing, beer, whiskey, vodka, you know, rum, whatever. You can't fake Guinness, or at least, I don't know if this is still true, but at least for a long time, you couldn't fake Guinness. Which meant that if you saw somebody in a movie or TV show, I would say up through the 90s, up through and including the 90s, if they were drinking Guinness in something, they were actually drinking Guinness. And the reason I know that was because even though it has not aged phenomenally, I am still a sucker and I still enjoy. If I had the patience, I'd rewatch it and do like a full video essay on it. But I enjoy Stephen Moffat's sitcom Coupling. And one of the things I learned from the audio track on that was that one of the actors, he knew that you can't fake Guinness. So he made the acting choice that his character drinks Guinness. And that meant, because he'd made that choice and the crew had agreed to it before they realized what he'd done, everyone else in the pub scenes was drinking fake beers. He got to drink real Guinness. Sneaky bugger. Can't remember the name of the actor. I like him too when he pops up in other things. Hold on a second. I want to get his name. Like, he's had small parts in a lot of stuff since then. Like, he had a small part in, oh God, why can't I think? V for Vendetta and a bunch of other stuff. Ben Miles! That's who I was thinking of. Oh, and I guess early 2000s, because that's when that was shot. For some reason, I thought it was late 90s that was shot. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, he was also in Andor. That's right. He's good. I like him. I find him fun and entertaining. Oh, we got more super chats. Ooh, on Red Hood. Oh, Red Hood. Well, first of all, thank you, Supreme Omega. I know he gets love as an edgy dude, but I feel like he's all talk. DC will never let Jason actually kill the Joker and other major Bat villains. Well, they won't now. See, like, that's because, and this is part of why I don't like the return of Jason Todd, is they could have done something interesting with him and didn't. They just didn't. They could have done some really fascinating stuff with him, but they've just turned him into the member of the Bat family who's okay using guns, and he's really boring. But he would have been willing to kill the Joker when he first came back. And, like, they refused to keep him there because, like, we're going to make him an anti-hero, but they wouldn't even make him as tough as the freaking Punisher. Ugh, what a waste. God, that was stupid. Jason was better when he was dead. Hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take. That's my take. Happiest of birthdays, Vera. Thank you, Snowglass, and thank you very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate that. Coyote Azul coming in. I'm anti-nostalgia. Every era sucks in its own way. True story. Bookworm of the fandoms. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm making a cosplay for Lucifer from Has Been Hotel. Is there a character you enjoy the most from that series? And is it different from who you would cosplay from the series if given the chance? If I was going to cosplay someone, I'd probably want to cosplay Alistair. You're never fully dressed without a smile. As for actual favorite character, I don't know. I lean toward Husk, but I have a Keith David's voice bias. So I don't know. I don't think I've settled on a favorite. I'd say top 3 are Husk, Angel, and Alistair. I can't give you a firm winner out of that, though. I loved walking with cavemen as a kid. They used humans and ape makeup rather than CGI. Is it dangerous to costumes like that if you're filming somewhere as hot as South Africa? I mean, depends on how they're made, but potentially, yeah. I loved your 6th Doctor video. Thank you, Dharma. I have a new perspective I didn't consider before, and you're right. He wasn't treated fairly. And there was the open hostility with Doctor Who. Then, yeah, like there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff I didn't really get into, like with Michael Grade and other stuff going on. But yeah. Do you mean they weren't allowed to fake Guinness, or they were unable to fake Guinness? What I meant, Sailor and Chantrix, was you could not create a non-alcoholic Guinness that actually looked convincingly like Guinness. It looked wrong. Nobody had been able to figure out how to make something that was drinkable, that looked like Guinness, but was not Guinness. Guinness is allegedly gluten-free, just like churros are allegedly gluten-free. Allegedly. X-Men 97 streams tomorrow. Cool. I don't plan to watch it. Jack Davenport from Coupling is Michelle Gomez's husband. Oh, I didn't know that. Wish he'd been in one of the Missy audios. That would have been interesting. I did not know they were married. Interesting. At least Guinness is vegetarian now since they took the Isinglass out a few years ago. Oh, there's that. Well, I'm vaguely trying to catch up on the chat before I wrap up. When my brother was a teenager, he had ripped jeans. My grandmother came over to help with the wash and sewed them shut. I think you said about tearaway pants made that pop up in my head. Yeah. It's a slightly different thing from just having rips, but yeah. Been reading one of Cartmill's books, basically a cyberpunk novel where Seven is being a shady bitch. Review tomorrow, plug. Well, I hope it's enjoyable. And I think I'm caught up. Woo! There we go. Okay. Oh, we comparing drinks now. Mixed drinks, mojitos. Cheers, Meg, Carolyn. All right, hang on. Do I watch Deep Space Nine? I have not seen Deep Space Nine. I haven't seen that one. I've heard it's really good. It's so cool. Because it's Star Trek, and Star Trek is my favorite show. No, sorry. Not sorry. I don't know. That's where my brain went, so that's what I did. Anyway, stuff coming up. Tomorrow, there will be a video on the release schedule for the new season of Doctor Who, the fact that some fans are mad about it, and how I feel whether or not that is justified. And so that'll be out tomorrow on the main channel. On Thursday, maybe. I'm having... hang on. Oh, I can't check that from there. I'll be streaming on Twitch tomorrow. Assuming I stop drinking and don't get hungover. And I will be playing, let's say, Street Fighter 6. So that'll be tomorrow on Twitch. On Thursday, in the break room, there will be a review for Hannah Gadsby's Gender Agenda. That'll be in the break room of Geeks. Saturday's video, I got to get back to editing that, is on J.K. Rowling. But then I'm going to have a fun one the weekend after that. So that's what's coming up. I think that's everything. I think it is. I don't know. Jar Jar Ed sneaking in with a last minute super chat. Did you ever watch the Expanse TV series? If not, I highly recommend it. Being set in just a solar system, it feels as epic as Star Trek's universe. I've heard very good things. I know Jesse loves it. I have never seen it. But anyways, that should wrap up all of the things. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for your well wishes. Thank you for your generosity. Just thank you. I appreciate the support and the care that I'm given by you folks, and that you are happy to spend time with me and listen to me. It's nice to know some folks like to. It helps. So thank you very much. Be well, be safe, be kind. Remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council, and I am just running the meeting. And until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity!